ain't no telephone bill. You'll always be home sweet home to me. Talking about Tennessee, talking about Tennessee, talking about
Sean, this is the gravest betrayal of American citizens this country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children, were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing: how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters, they did not scramble the military, they did not send needed assistance. But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately. A betrayal like we've never seen before, Sean. This is infuriating.
So that is state of politics in today's America, folks. We are gauging our emergency responses off of what benefits us politically. Hate to say it, but that's the only thing that you can basically look at this and think that's what the Biden-Harris administration has on its mind. Let's take a look at this New York Post article. Feds say there's no money left to respond to hurricanes after FEMA spent $1.4 billion on migrants. Washington. Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas set off outrage Wednesday when he told reporters that the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, does not have the funds to see Americans through the rest of this Atlantic hurricane season after the agency spent more than $1.4 billion since the fall of 2022 to address the migrant crisis. You think I hadn't read this before? We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have, Mayorkas said during a press gaggle on Air Force One en route to tour damage from the Hurricane Helene in South and North Carolina. We are expecting another hurricane hitting, he added. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season, and what is imminent. So, we have spent $1.4 billion herding illegal aliens into this country. I think we've all heard about the 20,000 that invaded a town in Ohio. I can't remember the name of it right now. But there's only one reason to drop 20,000 refugees into a town of 50,000, and that's pretty much to affect the electrical balance. Did I say electrical? I meant electoral. Yeah, I can speak. Anyway, critics pointed out that the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, allocated $604.9 million this year in FEMA-administrated funds to aid state and local governments coping with the influx of asylum seekers. Although Mayorkas' office fired back like Thursday, insisting that those funds couldn't be used for hurricane relief because Congress authorized them specifically for the migrant crisis. Now, let's go down here. Okay, where was that? Right here. DHS allocated $780 million for the migrant crisis last year, initially through the FEMA Emergency Food and Shelter Program, which funds relief not associated with natural disasters, and then through the new FEMA Shelter and Services Program, which was authorized in late 2022 by Congress to respond to the migrant crisis. The $640.9 million spent this year comes solely from the Shelter and Services programs. So this was a program that was initially, I believe, created to help homelessness, but they maneuvered everything so they could use it for the supposed migrant crisis. And I'm fairly certain we all know that this was purposeful. So as we go on, a relatively paltry $4 million has been paid directly to families and individuals in the weeks since Hurricane Helene ravaged the Southeast, killing at least 202 people and causing severe flooding damage from Florida to North Carolina, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said Thursday. Those funds are from a $10 million FEMA allocation that allows storm victim grants of $750 for groceries. I'm fairly certain those people that watched their houses race down a river really need $750 for groceries at this point in time. The lack of available FEMA funds stoked outrage among congressional Republicans, who are not due back in session until after Election Day. The Biden-Harris administration took more than $1 billion tax dollars that have been allocated to FEMA for disaster relief and used it to house illegal aliens, fumed Representative Jim Jordan, Representative of Ohio. Now they've abandoned American hurricane victims in North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, and Tennessee. So this is what people are experiencing on the ground right now.
And I just can't help but, I literally am just crying for my people. And for, how could the government do us like this? And how could the whole country just forget about us? Like, it's not enough. What is being done is not enough. There are entire communities that have been just decimated. Where is our government? For Kamala, and I am an avid supporter for her to stand in Florida today and make a statement. Where is our government? Where's the president? Where is that? These people are so hardworking. They have struggled and struggled and struggled for generations and generations to have what little bit they do. And it is completely wiped out from under them. And you can't do any more. You can't send any more support or any help.
And of course, this is what Kamala Harris's mind is actually on.
Our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making. And so absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity.
Much to the Democrats' horror, they're having problems with black Americans this election cycle, specifically black males. So something like this is something you're going to have to expect out of the Democrats. They will ignore the vast majority of people who are hurting, need help, or who are dead and dying to make sure that they can make political hay with the folks or the demographics, basically, that they depend on the most. And since black Americans vote 90% Democrat, they do everything they can to cater to the fears of African Americans. It's disgusting, honestly. It pretty much is. These people are monsters. And we'll end this off with exactly the problem. NYC giving migrant families $4,000 grants to move out of city shelters. Every ounce of money that the Democrats can move to areas that have most illegal migrants in the hopes that they can get illegal migrant votes through and try to steal the election, they'll do it. So, to be brutally honest, folks, I know where my vote's going. I hope your vote's going in the same direction. However, I need you guys to vote. We'll just leave it there. Do I want you to vote for Trump? Absolutely. But if you're not in that mindset, then, man, go ahead. The biggest problem we have in this country right now is people do not vote. There is at least 40% of the population that won't get out and fill out a ballot. And this is what happens when people don't take up their civic duty to make sure that the government runs the way that they want it to, basically. That's the whole point of how we govern ourselves. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you're having a great day. Let me know what you think about this situation, how you think it should be worked out. Let's see what kind of conversation we can have. So thank you very much, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and come back when I do this again. Later days.